There are a lot of angry people now that Aaron Judge won the MVP. We're going to talk about that. And it's Fanmail Friday, so get ready for all of it on a new live edition of Locked On Yankees.
You are Locked On Yankees, your daily New York Yankees podcast. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
Hello, and welcome to Locked On Yankees, which is part of the Locked On Podcast Network, which is now the #1 sports podcast network. I'm Stacey Gotsulias. He's Brian McKeon. Today's episode brought to you by FanDuel. Right now, new customers can bet just $5, and if your bet wins, you'll get $300 in bonus bets to use across the app, so download the app today. Brian, we didn't get to talk about this last night. I wanted to touch upon it. We will in a moment, but did you see a lot of copium from Mariners fans after Judge's victory on Thursday?
Yeah, I spent most of the day on Friday seeing a lot of social media reaction about how there's an East Coast bias when it comes to the MVP. I found that kind of weird. We should break that down a little bit.
Yeah, we're going to do that. It's Fanmail Friday. We'll do that after we break this down. So I'd like to discuss this just for a couple of minutes, and then we'll get into Fanmail Friday. So I noticed too, because when we went live on Thursday night, it was literally right after they announced that Judge was MVP.
Mm-hmm.
Like, he was announced at 7:53, and we started our live stream at 8 o'clock. So we didn't get to see a lot of reactions. We had our reactions and the people in the comments in the chat, but we didn't see anyone else's reactions. And my goodness, you would think that Aaron Judge did something to Cal Raleigh's dog if he had one. That he was just the most evil person for stealing the MVP from Cal Raleigh.
Yeah, I mean, you would also think that Aaron Judge hit 250 last year. I mean, Aaron Judge's numbers were, again, we said this in the show yesterday. If Aaron Judge hit 270 and his numbers were close to Cal Raleigh's, they would have given it to Cal Raleigh. Judge's numbers, his batting average was almost 100 points higher. The OPS was like 200 points higher. The numbers weren't particularly close at all. And I want to, I guess, debut this point. I don't know what the word is, but the East Coast bias argument that I kept seeing. Stacey, is it me, or tell me if I'm crazy? Shohei Ohtani has won four MVPs in 5 years, all playing in Los Angeles. How is that East Coast bias at all? I don't understand at all how that's it makes no sense to me whatsoever. You'd think Aaron Judge didn't have a good year.
It's even funnier because Tyler Kepner voted for Raleigh. He's a New York writer.
Yeah, it's crazy. And the other point, too, that I kept seeing is, oh, well, in 20 years, Mariners fans are going to remember this season from Cal Raleigh, but who's going to remember the season from Aaron Judge? And I do hear that point because, but it's more of a testament to how good Aaron Judge is. This is another year for Aaron Judge. And his numbers were terrific.
And how abnormal this is for the Mariners. No offense.
Exactly. No offense, but, you know, the Mariners don't have many years like this. So, but you can't reward a player for a league-wide reward because he did something great for the Mariners. And it's a historical season, but it's a historical season for a catcher. It's not the league's best catcher award. It's the most valuable player. I don't understand how where the mindset comes from that. Because Cal Raleigh did something historical and great for his position with the Mariners that he deserves. Like, I saw this argument, too, that, oh, well, when Aaron Judge did something historical, they gave it to him in 2022 because it was something historical. No. But that was historical for all of baseball.
It wasn't just that. Aaron Judge hit 62 home runs in 2022. The next closest guy in his league was Mike Trout at 40.
Well, yeah, 40. And again, no one had hit 62 home runs before. He broke the single season record in the American League for home runs in a season. That's why it's different. And honestly, if Cal Raleigh hit 63 or 64, they might have given him the MVP, and I don't think I'd complain as much.
Right.
But his season became historical for a catcher, which is awesome. But he's a catcher. Like, it doesn't equate.
And they're also talking about his defense should count, but was his defense even that great? Or is it just because he's a catcher, he has the harder position, he should win the award? That's what some of the rationale was. And it's just the way they were making it seem as if Judge didn't have a good season and that it wasn't a big deal. And he doesn't mean as much to the Yankees as Raleigh means to
which is insane.
The Mariners, which is is not true.
Yeah,
So I
because the
just wanted
Mariners
to discuss that because
while missing the playoffs, the Mariners have been fairly competitive the last few years, and Cal Raleigh wasn't hitting 60 home runs those years.
right.
You know, when Aaron Judge missed a big bulk of the season in 2023, the Yankees missed the postseason.
Right.
So crazy stuff. Crazy stuff.
All right. So if you're new to the show, we do this every week. It's called Fanmail Friday. We answer your questions. We answer questions from our YouTube viewers, and we answer questions from our insiders. And some of our insiders were panicking when I put the message out on Thursday that I needed questions because I don't know what was going on this week. And some people were panicking because they saw that Betty hadn't asked a question. And we start every Fanmail Friday with Betty, but don't worry, Betty asked a question. So here she is. I realize that betting on sports is as old as time and will always happen, but what concerns me is the digital age in which we live, where communications and results are immediate. Not sure why athletes making a fortune would do something crazy for a few grand. Maybe they just have the I'm untouchable star attitude, or more worrisome, there are threats taking place. Do you think it's something that could or even should be discussed in team meetings, or would that be pointless or insulting to players?
You know, it's crazy that you mentioned this, Betty, because they have gambling like symposiums that these teams have to go through before the season starts during spring training, where they actually have officers that work for Major League Baseball, not like the actual
not like police officers.
Yeah, not like police officers, but
yeah,
guys that come in to spring training and sit with the whole team and speak to them about the effects of this and what it means and why to stay away from it. That's been going on for a long time in baseball, way before it was legalized. And this goes on in almost every single sport now. So now to the point where it goes on in college sports. So these guys are very, very, very well aware of the ramifications of gambling in the sport. I don't think, like you said in the beginning of your statement here, or your question, even if you turned around, Stacey, and made sports gambling illegal tomorrow, and now it was completely no one's allowed to do it, people are still going to be betting on the football games on the weekend. You can't change this. The toothpaste is out of the tube, well beyond it at this point. And I think you just have to, at this point, hope that players are moral enough to just not be doing this kind of stuff when it comes to their own sport. Let's hear from David F. He says, after seeing Scott Boras's press conferences this week declaring Cody Bellinger the top gun, I'm left wondering if team management even takes notice of these types of events.
Scott Boras had a lot to say. It was kind of funny. When I was looking for Brian Cashman quotes, which if you didn't watch yesterday's show or listen to yesterday's show, because we talked about a lot of things that he said, Scott Boras was out there just as much as Brian Cashman talking. And that's what Scott Boras's job is, basically, right? To talk up his players and his clients that he has.
Yeah, he's out there advertising for his clients to make them look better. So, no, I don't think I don't think this remotely affects the Yankees' game plan going forward. Right. And everyone knows he's one of the top guys available.
Yeah.
Right? We all know it.
Yeah. Next question is from Chris F. I have to apologize to Chris F. again. This time, it was something happened with subtext where a couple of people sent questions and I never got them. But they were on their end, but I never got them. So this is actually a question from last week. Loved the discussion a few Fridays back about butchering names. I've experienced that myself my whole life. Keep stuff like that going during the off season, as humor is important and makes the episodes even more fun. So question is, since I've been living in Washington State for 14 years, I go to T-Mobile when the Yankees come to town. Love, love, love that stadium. Do you guys have a favorite road stadium you enjoy to see our beloved Yankees? Thank you as always, and love the pod.
I have not been to a Yankees game in this stadium, but my favorite road stadium that I've been to is Milwaukee. I absolutely love it there. There's a restaurant out in left field that hangs over pretty much the outfield wall. It is one of the nicest stadiums I've been to. I love that stadium, but there's a ton of great ones.
The only two stadiums that I've gone to see the Yankees that haven't been Yankee Stadium are Shea Stadium and Citi Field.
That's crazy. You never been to even like Philly?
No, my brother went to Philly.
I like Philly a lot. Philly's a really nice stadium.
Yeah.
Pittsburgh's great. That one's beautiful. Wrigley is just Wrigley.
Yeah, when I went to the Orioles, I saw the Orioles play the Braves. The Yankees were out in Texas when I happened to be going to.
I didn't see the Yankees play there. I went to the All-Star game, if you remember, last year or 2 years ago. Texas was gorgeous, but that's a brand new air conditioned, but that one was cool. I liked that one a lot. Last one for this segment comes from Evan, who's a new insider. Thank you, Evan. He says, I finally figured out how to become an insider. Yay. With the success of the recent rule changes, pitch clocks, 3-batter rule, and the advent of ABS next year, what is one additional on-field rule change you would like to see? I would limit intentional walks to 2 or even 1 per side per game, and 1 extra if the game doesn't go into extra innings.
Or no, if the game does go into extra innings.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know if I'd want more or less intent. The intentional walk, I don't think, is a deal breaker to me. We don't see it often enough.
You only really see it a lot with Aaron Judge.
Yeah.
I'm trying to think. I mean, I like, it's so funny. Everyone was complaining about the pitch clock, complaining about the nets. Mm-hmm. You don't hear people complaining about the nets anymore. You don't hear people complaining about the pitch clock anymore. I'm sure ABS, within a week, people are gonna be like, oh, I love this. This is great. Especially if the challenges go the way you want them to.
Rob Manfred gets a lot of flack for decisions he makes, but the rule changes that he's made in the last 5 years or so, he's pretty much nailed on most of them.
The only thing I don't like is the ghost runner, but other than that,
yeah. I don't even mind the ghost runner in the regular season. If they ever did it in the playoffs, I would pull a riot.
I do, only because the Yankees are so bad at it.
Oh, yeah. But I mean, as a rule itself, it doesn't really bug me, to be honest.
Yeah, it's, but it's so funny that they made it seem like there was a scourge of 18 and 19 inning games, and they can't have games go to extra innings. And, and then you watch the games that went to extra innings in the playoffs, and how exciting were they?
Yeah, but not every game is like that in the regular season. I don't know.
But it doesn't really happen that much in the regular season. Like it's for some reason, it feels it's different in the playoffs, right? Like the playoff games are the ones that go 18 innings. You don't really see an 18 inning game in the regular season.
The only complaint that I'd have, and this is like a ridiculous complaint, but when I go to a baseball game, I like for it to be my all-day activity. Like I like for the game to be 4 or 5 hours.
Right,
so like
and the pitch clock makes it where it's 2.5.
Yeah, so for going to the game, I don't like that it's 2.5 hours, but for the at-home experience, especially for our work experience.
Oh, yeah.
The fact that I come home from work and the game's over and by 10, I love that. So that's the only experience that I can give you. Like that is good for me, but the in-game experience isn't as good. But
I would agree with that.
Yeah, that's the only complaint that I could really have, and that's not really a good complaint. So,
because believe me, there are nights, guys, where if we have to stay up for a West Coast game, and it's brutal. We're just like zombies by the time the game ends. Yeah. All right. Well, don't forget, subscribe to the channel, hit the like button on our videos, hit the notification so you know when our videos go up. You can also listen to us on every podcasting platform available. And when things are happening, we have a TikTok. You'll see Brian's face mostly on TikTok. It's LockedOn_Yankees. So follow us over there. Coming up, more of your Fan Mail Friday questions.
The NBA is back, and there's no better place to get in on the action than with FanDuel. It's the official sports betting partner of the NBA. Even if you miss the start of the game or you want to ride the hot hand, FanDuel has live bets on everything from who will score next to fourth quarter comebacks. Plus, you can even combine your live bets into a same-game parlay for a shot at a bigger payout. Now, with Jalen Brunson out, it's going to be on the other Knicks to be able to create some havoc out there, right? Karl Anthony Towns, hopefully. Mikal Bridges could hopefully get some scoring going. So look for those other Knicks that you're not generally betting on to have big performances while Brunson is sidelined with his ankle injury. It keeps every game exciting, especially when your team is able to make that late game push. So right now, FanDuel is giving new customers $300 in bonus bets when your first $5 bet wins. So head over to FanDuel.com to sign up today and play your game with FanDuel. It's the official sports betting partner of the NBA. Guys, we want to thank you once again for making Locked On Yankees your first listen of the day. And thank you for making Locked On the #1 sports podcast network. We really appreciate it. Also, as we are in the middle of Fanmail Friday, we want to remind you that every Friday is Fanmail Friday. Get those questions in where Stacey makes them available on the YouTube page. You guys can get involved and become an insider because those guys get top priority. And we started off with Alex, who is another new insider with us. Alex says, question, comment. I would like to say that I did a double take when Cashman said yesterday that if Grisham refuses the qualifying offer, that he would continue to talk to Grisham and Bellinger. What? Why? How many outfielders do we need? Want Jasson Dominguez to get a real chance?
I would like Jasson Dominguez to get a real chance too. I really would, because I think he's going to be a very solid player. And I think that I don't think it was fair. I understand why what happened to him in 2025 because they had too many outfielders, but why would you want that same problem again in 2026?
This is not a Cal Raleigh pun, but bear with me for a second. There is a huge but in the argument you just gave.
Okay.
Aaron Judge just won another MVP. Garrett Cole is another year older. Giancarlo Stanton is another year older. And do you want Aaron Judge to go into the list of names like Ewing and Mattingly of players who are greats that haven't won a championship?
Right.
So you're in that weird state where you are in win now, go for it mode. And you also want to develop Jasson Dominguez as an outfielder. A win now team can't really afford to develop Jasson Dominguez all season while they're trying to win a World Series. Those two don't kind of blend at the same time. Now, if Jasson Dominguez hits the ground running hitting wise, yeah, you can afford to have him in the lineup because you need him in the lineup. But if he doesn't, you need to protect yourself some way. There's a great chance he has a really good sophomore year. What if he has a terrible sophomore year? What if he comes out and by May he's hitting 149 and can't get off the ground? Then what do you do? Then you probably wish that you signed Cody Bellinger or Trent Grisham. So I think they're just trying to protect themselves, and they'll find playing time for him.
Well, yeah, but it's funny that you say that because I think of a player that they've allowed to stink up the joint for 3 straight seasons in Anthony Volpe.
Also unacceptable. I'm not giving that a pass. Also unacceptable, but you're in that weird spot, Stacey, where like
I don't think it, but I don't want to say that they should bring back Bellinger or Grisham. It's just, I think that it should be one or the other, more Bellinger than Grisham out of those two. Right. And like I said, Dominguez has the year under his belt. It's not like
Agreed.
I feel the same way I felt about Ben Rice. And I was right about my feeling about Ben Rice. And this is my feeling about Jasson Dominguez. I just feel like 2026 is going to be a lot better for him because he knows what he needs to do in the majors. And he's going to be working in the offseason to fix it.
I think the perception coming from outside of the organization has been slightly unfair towards Jasson Dominguez too, because let's be honest, who had the worst rookie year? Ben Rice or Jasson Dominguez?
Right.
I think it was by far Ben Rice. And look at what he looked like in his second year. So you got to give these guys a little bit of time to develop and kind of sit back and see the game from afar. I don't think the story's been written on Jasson Dominguez so far yet, but you need to protect yourself by signing guys. And also, Alex, it's the New York Yankees. If their payroll is $330 million and they have 4 starting outfielders, that's a better problem to have than having 2 starting outfielders.
True. That's true. Our next question is from Eric S. Do you think Danny Roland's firing is the precursor to other moves if the Yankees have an early playoff exit in 2026? We talked about this the other day. Danny Roland was the international scout who had been with the Yankees for years and years and years. He found Jasson Dominguez among other guys, and it was a pretty interesting news item when it came out that he was going away from the Yankees.
Yeah, I don't think it's necessarily a precursor if there's an early playoff exit. It all depends on how things unravel throughout the regular season and into the playoffs. I don't think it has necessarily one thing has to do with the other, to be honest.
Right.
Let's hear from Malachi and his little brother Duncan. So we got a new person in here too. Malachi and his little brother Duncan want to know what your favorite drink is. Any drink. Oh boy, Malachi, you should not be asking this question.
Well, for me right now, my favorite drink is coffee. I drink way too much of it every day because it doesn't affect me like it affects other people because I have ADHD. It does the opposite. I could fall asleep after I drink a tub of coffee. I'm just like that. I just like the taste of it. But otherwise, like I can't really think of anything else that I like. You know, I don't drink soda anymore. I basically got rid of soda when I did Weight Watchers 18 years ago. I switched to water. I'll occasionally have like a Sprite, but it wreaks havoc on my stomach. So I just stay away from carbonated stuff altogether.
Yeah, I like cherry whiskey and Coke Zero. That's a good enjoyment sports event kind of thing for me. But Malachi, the right answer is water. I love water. That's my favorite drink.
Yeah, that's what this is. It's water with raspberry lemonade flavoring in it.
There you go. That's what you should drink always.
Yes. Okay. That was our last insider question. Now we're on YouTube. This is from Craig M2. Hearing Rob Manfraud, very funny, talk about protecting the integrity of the game is laughable. In my opinion, he didn't protect the integrity of the game by doing nothing to the players involved in the Astros cheating scandal. He could have vacated the championship, but went on to call it a piece of metal. He could have taken away Altuve's MVP. He did nothing. Maybe it's because the players union is very strong and he didn't want to battle them. I also know gambling scandal is a different situation altogether, but both scenarios tie in to his comments about protecting the integrity of the game. Thanks for taking the time to read this.
Here's what I'll say when it comes to stripping of titles and stuff. We all watched 2017, right? We all watched 2018. We all watched 2019. We all saw what the Astros were doing those years before they got caught. If he strips the title from the Astros, what are you going to say as time goes on who won the 2017 World Series? Are you really going to say it was the Dodgers?
No, I think you vacate it and no one's a winner.
But we all saw who won the World Series that year.
Right.
We all saw it. Like, so I don't, to me at least, like as a fan, that's not the pound of flesh that I'm looking for. That doesn't do it for me. Like, we know Louisville won the national championship those years back. They vacated Louisville's national championship. We all saw them win. We all know they won that national championship. We all know that all of these guys that have had wins stripped in college and titles stripped, we all saw them win. So I don't know if that really does anything for me. We all watched it happen. The only thing that I wish would have been different, and again, he couldn't do anything because of the rules in the CBA. I wish the team would have suffered a more severe fine. I wish Jim Crane had been forced to pay a larger fine. I don't like that their fine was $5 million for an owner of a baseball team. That's pennies that he finds in between the couch. Like, right. I don't think that was, but that's the maximum fine allowable in the CBA, and the owners and the players negotiated that, and that's all Rob Manfred could do. Quite honestly, if it were up to me, I'd fine him $1 billion. Fine him like give him a max fine because it doesn't protect the integrity of the sport. But like Stacey, what more did you want? Did you want Altuve banned from the sport for life? You know what I mean? Like, there's ship him of the MVP, sure, but we saw Altuve win that MVP. They all voted Altuve to win the MVP. That's kind of what happened, and that's coming from me, who knows Judge was the rightful MVP that year. Right. With Altuve cheating, by the way, Judge was the rightful MVP, which is even more impressive on Judge's part. But regardless, like, what more do you want in 2017? Like, we all saw it happen, and I think the public embarrassing nature of it should be more, because quite frankly, whenever anybody mentions that Astros sort of quasi dynasty run that they had for those few years, everybody brings up the cheating scandal.
Right.
They won 2 World Series in that span, right? Everyone brings up the cheating scandal. Everyone. So to me, that's enough, right? I mean, for history going down, it's always going to be remembered about the banging on the trash cans. That to me that's the pound of flesh that I'm good with. I don't know if you have a different answer, but
I just think, they're going to get booed for the rest of their careers, some of them.
Good.
And that's
good. And again, whenever that 2017 is brought up, that year in baseball, it will always be followed with, that was the year they cheated.
Yeah.
And you know what? If you got to be followed, but Shoeless Joe Jackson never and ever will outlive the Black Sox scandal. It'll never go away. And Pete Rose, as likable of a guy as some people claim that he is, will never get out of that cheating, the gambling scandal, ever. And sometimes you do things that are so heinous, those things follow you forever. So that's what follows the Astros and Jose Altuve forever. I hope it was worth it.
All right, coming up next, more YouTube questions.
I love this first question of our third segment coming up here, Stacey, because it's a little bit more of one of those outsider questions and not the typical baseball question. We are going to dive into the weeds of baseball throughout the entire offseason, I promise you. But we do love these different kind of questions, like Malachi has participated in giving us. It is very enjoyable. Mm-hmm. So Paceman68 says, okay, so you are now a Yankee. What music do you pick for your walk-up song? Myself, I would choose Trampled Underfoot by Led Zeppelin. I really enjoyed the show, by the way. A lot of good Led Zeppelin songs you could pick.
True. My answer has not changed in the last...
It's got to be a Duran Duran song.
It is.
Yeah.
I would play the beginning of A View to a Kill.
Okay.
The first 15 to 20 seconds of A View to a Kill.
Would it change if it's a bullpen song?
Yes. I'm not sure what my bullpen song would be. I never even thought of that because I never thought of myself being able to be a pitcher, but I always thought of myself walking up to the plate for some reason. But yeah, no, the first few seconds of A View to a Kill. And I've been saying that answer for like 30 years.
I think that's a really good one. I think the bullpen song needs to be longer and more drawn out than the walk up.
Oh yeah,
song
and
to
it
the
has
plate.
to be more like, especially if you're a closer, like it needs to be something that gets the stadium hyped up.
And yourself hyped up.
Yeah.
My bullpen song, I'm gonna take this my own pace and do the bullpen song because I want to do that too. My bullpen song is a song called Diamond Eyes by the band Shinedown. It's a slow-ish starting off song, and then it really, really, really ramps up. That I would like to come out to the bullpen to the slow part while I'm walking and then sprint when it starts to get really heavy. So if you guys are interested, go check out that song Diamond Eyes by Shinedown. And my bat song is actually going to be a current New York Mets, well, free agent actually, walk-up song to the plate. Working Man by Rush. Oh. I think it is like the perfect intro guitar riff to walking up to the batter's box. Pete Alonso used it last year. So I think that is a terrific at-bat song. So that's the one I would use for that one.
Interesting. I would not be running from the bullpen. I would be sauntering. Walk? I would saunter out of the bullpen.
What is a saunter? I missed that day in SAT vocab class.
Well, it's not a run.
But it's a light jog.
It's more like a saunter, like you're sauntering, like fancy walking, because I'm a lady. Why would I be, hoofing it?
Well, I don't think we've seen a lady come out of the bullpen before in Major League Baseball, so you'd have to start the new trend on how ladies come out of the bullpen.
Yeah, like I'd be like I was on RuPaul's drag show or something like that.
There you go. There you go. Exactly. Yeah. Delacoste77 says, if Aaron Judge were to retire today, how would his Yankee legacy compare to Don Mattingly's?
Well, it's different because Mattingly only made the playoffs the last year that he was playing with the Yankees, where Judge has pretty much been there most of the time that he's been.
Only 1 year.
That he's missed, and the 1 year that he missed, like 2016 doesn't count because he was only there for the last 2 months. And the 1 year he missed is because he was injured. If he weren't injured, the Yankees probably would have won more games and they would have squeaked into the playoffs. So it's definitely different than Don Mattingly's. Like, everyone compares them because of the no championship thing, but, Judge has won multiple MVPs. Now he has a batting
far better
title.
Player than Don Mattingly.
Mattingly had a great peak. Those first few years, it looked like he was on his way to being one of the all-time greatest Yankees, and then his back gave out on him, unfortunately. But yeah, it's different.
I think Mattingly beats him with the glove, but by a very slight margin. Because Judge's glove is excellent too. Judge has played 10 years now. He's 33 years old, which means Mattingly played 14 years. So they're probably going to have just about the same career length. Maybe Judge will play a year or two longer. That's about it, which is kind of crazy to say. Judge is a far better all-time player. Like, I think if Aaron Judge doesn't play, if 2025 is Aaron Judge's last season, I think he's a first ballot Hall of Famer. So I don't, and Don Mattingly is going to sneak in the next few years on the Veterans Committee, but he's not a Hall of Famer per se, first ballot, all that kind of stuff. I think they're both beloved in Yankee lore for sure. I do think like 20, 30 years from now, who gets the bigger ovation, Don Mattingly or Aaron Judge? I think it's Aaron Judge.
Yeah. Well, because most of my generation is going to not be.
Well, I didn't mean it in that sense at all. But
we're not going to be around, so.
I think in Yankee lore, Aaron Judge is going to be thought of as a better all-time Yankee than Mattingly. It's not taking away from Mattingly, but Aaron Judge is one of the all-time great right-handed hitters, literally.
I'm so depressed.
Yeah, why'd you have to bring it there?
Yeah, I don't know. I'm sorry. I apologize. I didn't mean to bring it down. All right. Next question from Howard Rose. Hi, Stacey and Brian. What do you think about waiting for Paul Skeens, who's a free agent in 2030? Because by then you'll probably lose Cole. He'll be 38 in 2029. Carlos Rodon, age 35 in 2028. What I mean is that they will not sign a big pitcher right after Cole or Rodon will leave and save the money they have for Skeens, which will be a year later. I just want to ask what your opinion is and what do you think are the chances for that to happen? As always, love your show.
Yeah, I just don't think that you can hold on to guys or hold on to money, I guess, to be waiting for Skeens, because you could still get outbid. Even if you hold it and save that money, like there's the Mets, the Dodgers, like there's everyone's going to be bidding on Paul Skeens, and it's going to turn into another Juan Soto situation. Like what is the limit for a guy like Paul Skeens? Right. How old is he going to be when he becomes a free agent? I don't know off the top of my head, but I mean, he's not going to be north of 30. He's not even going to be north of 28. I doubt it. So I just, I don't think it's worth. I think you have to improve the team going into season after season, and you also have to not understand, but take into account. They're going to still have Max Fried on the books. You don't know what kind of contract they're going to try and give Cam Schlittler to at some point if he becomes the player they think he can become. And if Aaron Judge is still championship-less at this point, they're going to have other guys that are on the books for length of time when Paul Skeens becomes a free agent because they're going to keep trying to sign guys to get Judge that championship. So you can't look that far. I don't think it does you any justice unless they somehow make one of those trades for Paul Skeens, which, again, if he actually is available, I would trade everybody in the farm system for Paul Skeens. Then you try to sign him early, buy out his arbitration, and give him a $500-600 million contract. Until that's plausible, if he hits free agency, you can't. You go after him, of course, and you put yourself in the bidding, but you can't save money to try and get him because it's no longer the days of the Yankees outbidding everybody else.
Right.
Let's hear from our last question. Casey Cotreau, 7050. Casey says, what is your go-to food when going to a Yankees game, either in the stadium or a nearby restaurant? Well, before the game, it's Bodega for me. Are you Billy's or Stan's?
I don't go to any of those places. I don't like being around that many people. Yeah, no.
But you go to the Yankee game with 60,000 or 50,000.
Yeah, because I'm sitting in a seat and I can walk around away from people. Like when you're in Billy's and Stan's, you're like, I'm also 51 years old. I'm not going to be hanging around with a bunch of people in their 20s and 30s in a bar.
Yeah, those
I'm past that point. They are. No offense to you, but 20 years ago, sure, I would be in Billy's or actually, where would I go? Stan's, I think, right?
Okay, there you go. So that's your way of answering the question.
Yeah, like years ago, that's what I would do, but not really. Like we just went. I never really hung out before the games. I just would go to the game.
I'm loyal to the chicken bucket in the stadium. I know they keep adding things year after year. I never do the dessert options like those giant ice cream buckets and stuff. That doesn't interest me at all.
Yeah.
And getting food, like getting any of the new items that they advertise coming out every year are all in the lower bowl. Mm-hmm. And I'm a bleacher guy. Like I sit in my season tickets are in the bleachers. I don't have time to go into the lower bowl and wait on a line for 2 innings to get a steak sandwich. I don't have time to do that. So I always go chicken bucket. It's quick, it's easy, it's affordable, right to the seats. And I can always share it with the person that I'm there with. So that's always my go-to.
When the new stadium opened up, I was a low bells girly. I would wait for the steak sandwich, but I wouldn't get the sandwich. I would ask them to just give me the steak without the bun. So I would get just a bunch of meat.
Just protein. And
eat the meat at my seat. When the steak covered fries came out, I started eating those. They're so good. They look like Alpo dog food, but they're so good. And recently, because I don't go to as many games, I didn't even go to a game this past season for the first time in 40 years. The past 3 times that I've gone to the stadium, I've gotten the chicken platter from Halal Guys because it's so good.
No, I don't hate that. I don't hate that. I don't trust halal food at a baseball game.
Oh no, it's so good.
Thing. Yeah, it's terrific. It's excellent.
So good.
I just don't trust it.
Yeah, no, it's great. And plus, I don't know if the price went up because the last time I was there in 2024 it was $15.99. But it's enough. It's enough food for you to eat for like 3 innings straight. So it's totally worth the price.
Oh yeah, no, I'm not. The price 100% is worth it. Yeah. I love Halal Guys. Just I love it like when I'm in the city. But a chicken bucket's my move always. Love it.
I used to do the chicken fingers and fries. That was a big thing. And at the old stadium, I don't know why. I would get the roast beef sandwich from the food court at the old stadium.
Oh, there you go. Yeah, perfect.
Yeah,
the food in stadiums has changed so much over the years, though. It's not even comparable to what it used to be.
Yeah. Now you can get, sushi and all these other.
I think this might be the year that I get Legends. I haven't done it yet. You did it in the first year.
I did it opening day, 2009, and it was worth it. Just to have.
Do you mind me asking what it cost you?
It cost me $6.25. I was just past third base, like 3 rows up, just past third base.
That's actually not crazy.
In section 027. I had no idea what I was doing, by the way.
You went alone?
Oh yeah, I love going to games by myself. I hadn't been in the new stadium. My brother had gone to the exhibition game against the Cubs, April 3rd of 2009. And he sent me pictures of what our seats were going to be because we knew where our seats were going to be for Sundays. And I didn't know anything. So I was like on the regular main level and I'm looking down at 027. I'm like, how do I get there? And a girl's like, oh, do you need help? And I said, yeah. I said, I'm sitting in 027. She goes, oh, you need to go into the suite entrance. And I'm like, oh, I had no idea. So they bring me to the Legends entrance because I had no idea about anything. And they bring you in and they tell you about all the food and this and that. And you go down and I was just like, I had steak with horseradish sauce at like 10:30 in the morning. So they opened the gates really early that day because it was opening day. And I was sitting at the table by myself. This older man comes over and he's like, may I sit with you? I said, sure. Because he was by himself too. We got to talking. He said he went on Ticketmaster the night before and got his Legend seats for only $250. And he was sitting on the first base side.
I'd pay that in a heartbeat. I'd pay that in a heartbeat.
Yeah, like I guess someone was really like desperate to get rid of their ticket or whatever. But we talked for a little bit. I think
this might be the year that I open up the bank and
yeah, you go to your seats. There's a menu. You can order whatever you want. I mean, this was 16 years ago, so I'm sure things have changed. But you could order a jersey if you wanted to. Like there was a menu with like you could get memorabilia and be like, yeah, I'm gonna get this, and the person takes the order. They go to the store and they bring it out. I was like,
got the money. I mean,
I want to be a rich person. There was only 2 times that I was pretending to be a rich person at a baseball game. That time. And when I was in Anaheim as a +1 for my friend who was flown out there by a TV station that she did business with. We sat in the suite next to Scott Boras in Anaheim.
Oh, wow.
I met Scott Boras because he was there that night. It was 2004. My friend jokingly thanked him for A-Rod. He got a kick out of that because we said we're Yankee fans. We're visiting from New York. Like we told him everything. But those seats in Anaheim, because they're the dugout suites, so you're at dugout level.
Yeah.
And Boris' suite is directly behind the plate. The suite we were in was right next to it. So whenever they went inside, because there was also a suite inside, we would go to where Boris stands. Because if you guys watch baseball games in Anaheim, you always see a person standing back there with arms crossed, watching, leaning against the wall directly behind home plate. That's always Scott Boras, just in case you needed to know. So when
a lot of Angel games,
him and his, I guess the rest of the people in his law firm and the firm would go into their suite, I would go behind the plate and my friend Julie would be in our suite watching me on TV, and I imitated him. I stood there with my arms crossed on KCal, just like, yeah. In the 6th inning, we were there and we hear someone say, the dessert cart is here. And my friend Julie looks at me and she goes, did they say dessert cart? And we run out into the hallway and there's a cart about 7 feet long with every possible dessert that you could think of ever being made in your life. Candy, cakes, pies. They had chocolate shot glasses that we filled with Baileys. So you do the Bailey shot and then you eat the shot glass. There were cookies. I said, I want to be rich. I really do. This is just, I could live like this.
It would be nice. It would be very nice.
Yeah.
One day. But yeah, I did my Legends experience at the first time that I was at Yankee Stadium, and it was well worth it. It's time for me to get there. It's time for me to get there. It's time.
Yeah. So I recommend it if you can. And, try to do it like where you get the cheaper. Although now I can't even imagine what the prices are.
I'll find a game against like the Reds in like August on like a Wednesday to go.
Yeah, I'm quite frightened to find out what they could possibly be because if they were that expensive in 2009, it would be really bad. See, Debbie likes Lobel's steak sandwich. Yeah. She stopped eating red meat though.
No, the food's great. It's just not worth the wait.
Oh, I used to eat the garlic fries too. Right, Craig. Thank you for reminding me.
Garlic fries are terrific.
I used to eat the garlic fries too. Yeah, I had a whole thing. I had a tradition where I'd get the steak sandwich, eat it without the bread. 4th inning, I'd go to Johnny Rockets, get my vanilla shake, and people on Twitter knew that I would go to Johnny Rockets every game that I was at in 2009, so people would come up and meet me. It was kind of amazing. That was when I was not antisocial. Now I wouldn't want people to come up to me at a baseball game. Just saying. Other Locked On hosts, they're there with cards, giving out cards to people. And I'm just like, I don't know if I ever want to go to the stadium again. I can't help it. You go, represent the show. Say hi to everyone.
Yeah, no, I've met some of you at the games. It's a fun time.
Yeah. Yeah. All right. Well, thank you guys for being here. I'm sorry we didn't get to your comments too much here, but thank you guys for joining us tonight. We, last night the MVP announcement was so late that we were like, let's do Fanmail Friday on Friday. And we did it. And you guys asked a lot of good questions. Thank you. And for next week, just look for the post on YouTube. If you're not an insider, insiders, I will send you reminders all week. So thank you for making Locked On Yankees your first listen. For your second listen, find Locked On MLB. Baseball guru Sully brings you a daily blend of humor and baseball, keeping you updated on every rumor and story throughout the offseason. You can find Locked On MLB on YouTube or wherever you listen to your podcasts. So that'll do it for this edition of Locked On Yankees. I'm Stacey Gotsulias.
And I'm Brian McKeon. We'll catch you guys tomorrow, Monday.